Welcome to another video. Normally I face the London and that's a difficult opening to crack, but I have a very cool variation for you. I will show you. So normally you play d4, d5 and let's say the standard London, c5, a little bit aggressive towards the center, knight c6, and they will start to make the little pyramid, and knight d2, and they will point the horsey on f3 and go maybe bishop d2, maybe bishop e2, doesn't really matter, but they really want to keep this intact. And the most favored London player wants really put a knight on e5. That is the main target of the London player. So we face a different opening. We start already with knight f6. That is a very flexible move, also very nice for different openings. So that is ideal. But we are facing the London, so you can play knight f3 and then bishop f4. But some people will play bishop e4 right away. We continue with e6, and that's our little setup. We don't go for the King's Indian, we don't go for d5, we nearly don't even go for d4, d5 in the whole game. And that's very weird to play if you're a London player, and that's very cool. So they continue to make the little pyramid. So c5, and you will strike in the center. They never are gonna take because that will bring them out of book, and their little pyramid will be crushed down immediately. So they probably continue with c3. They just remember the sequence of moves. And now my favorite move is b6. It is a very different move because normally you can face queen b3, queen b6, and you can take and take. The knight will come here. But if the knight shows up, we can play d6 and it has to go away already, which is nice. So we play b6. They will continue with, let's say, knight f3. We can play bishop e7, bishop b7, but we start with bishop b7 because there is no check. Normally you have d5 and then you have a check and you have to do something about it. The knight will come to e5 and now there's not anything possible. So they will play knight b to d2 and I will play bishop to e7. And now if you see in the database, this is the master games because h3 is now the top move, and that's because of knight h5. And now the bishop can have an escape. So if they play, for example, bishop e2, maybe a little bit slow, we can castle, or we can play knight to h5. And you don't have bishop g5 because the bishop is already on e7, which is nice. And you can go back, and now it's questionable if you want to take, because you will open up the rook. And if you castle right into it, it is not really pleasant. So now you have to do something about it. Let's say here, but they will probably castle queenside, and now you have a pretty tough game. Quite curious. The engine says it's quite equal, but for a human perspective, you need to defend, right? And we don't want to defend. So we just castle, and we wait if we need to take on g3. This is my little setup. And you can play castle, and they can castle. Now you have, for example, here, and get already the bishop pair. But if they persist to h3, now we can play, for example, d6. And that's a very flexible opening. And now you can play the knight on here, you can play knight on c6. Depends on what the opponent does, but now knight h5 is not really ideal. And now you finish the setup with knight to d7. And now you can play for e5 maybe. Maybe you can play rook e8 and bishop to f8. It looks a bit slow, but it's opening up the center for eventually to e5. And now you can continue in different ways, but for a London player this is very difficult to play. So a very quick video. I hope you liked it, and I see you on the next video. Have a good day. Bye.